We've got a great day for weather here after an enormous downpour that affected the World Supersport race on Saturday, which was actually delayed to earlier today. But the good news, as you can see for yourself, is that the air temperature is 20 degrees Celsius, the track temperature 25 degrees Celsius. Very, very slight breeze and everything to play for the R3 World Cup. On Saturday, we saw the Australian Cameron Swain emotionally winning for the first time, but the fastest lap went to Takumi Takahashi for today's pole position ahead of Swain and Alessandro Di Persio, who was given a penalty for boisterous riding yesterday. Bocanegra from Peru, brilliant podium yesterday. Jolan had a crash. He's racing in front of his home crowd and wants a podium as he had last year. Yamani completing that fourth row of the grid. Watch out for the title contenders Mark Vick. He's 8th on the grid. And Gonzalo Sanchez, who crashed at the end of the opening lap yesterday, 10th on the grid. Can Di Persio get in on the act as well for the championship?
You need to start first, huh?
Now, as you can see for yourself, this Magny-Cours circuit, which is clockwise in configuration, 4.4 kilometers, 2.7 miles, is mostly dry with some wet patches. Everybody on slick tires. The organisers here in the FIM Yamaha bLU cRU R3 World Cup decide whether the field goes out on full slick tires or the rain tires from Pirelli. And with a dry race having been declared, slicks really are the only option. We actually had an unusual situation at Donington Park in the UK earlier on in the season when they decided to opt for wets, but the track was pretty much dry by the time the race got underway. This then is the warm-up lap. One last chance for the riders to survey the conditions here at Magny-Cours. Let's take a look at the track through the Grand Curve. This is the right-hander now at Estoril, then the Golf Kink, down to the big stop at the Adelaide hairpin. Through the hairpin, the track is bone dry there under the Pirelli banner towards the Nürburgring chicane, which is a right-left flick. Then it's the left-hander at 180. To remind you of the starting positions, Takahashi is on pole. Yesterday's winner, the Australian Cameron Swain, number 26, is second. Di Persio is in third place. Ayman Bocanegra will start fourth for Peru. Then it's Dorian Jolan. Yamani sixth for Japan. Eduardo Burr crashed twice yesterday, the first of which was a high side from the lead on the opening lap. So the Brazilian 7th on the grid this time from Mark Vick. We've also got the number 53 in the field this weekend, and that's Pasin Chomperat, the rider from Thailand, who's making his debut. Sanchez is 10th on the grid for Spain, the rider who's led this championship since the beginning, ahead of his home round at Motorland Aragon at the end of the month. This is a critical race now. There's the championship situation then. 10 points between Sanchez and Mark Vick, with Alessandro Di Persio 37 behind. But I'm not convinced that's correct, because that's the championship situation at the start of the race weekend. It is actually now Sanchez and Vick level on points, with Di Persio 24 behind as a result of yesterday's race. That's just off the top of my mind, but I think there's an error there on the graphics, because That's the point as it was at the start of race 1 on Saturday. I believe the timing screens are showing incorrect information at the moment. I'll let you know if anything changes during this race. But as far as I'm aware, Marc Vic and Sanchez are level on points with De Percio 24 behind, as we now get ready for the start of this race with only Aragon left after this. The red lights are on, the red lights are out after a very long hold, and this race begins at Magny-Cours in France. Takahashi from the pole position, but Cameron Swain is into the lead, just as he was yesterday, and Ayman Bocanegra really getting in on the act as well, the rider from Peru, who finished on the podium on his debut in a spectacular start to his career in the World Cup yesterday. He now is up into second position. David Novak, number 46, struggling for a good setup this weekend, down towards the back of the field at the moment, but it's all dry as we make our way around the Golf Kink, and Ayman Bocanegra once again is leading, but here comes the Brazilian. Eduardo Burr is on the outside, on the right-hand side of the track, down into the Adelaide hairpin. Jolan on the inside. Sanchez is in there. Sanchez, and he's up into 5th position, I do believe, as they put the power down, coming out of the Adelaide hairpin, down towards the right-left flick at Nürburgring. It's Burr leading. Can he get it right this time? He didn't yesterday. Number 16 is Takahashi, down into 2nd place. He started on pole position here, the rider from Japan. It's not been an excellent start, but it's certainly not been a bad start. They can very much still win from there. Dorian Jolan, the French rider with the pink helmet, up the inside of 180, slotting himself into 6th place. Cameron Swain's really lost out there in the shuffle. He was leading into the first corner. Now he is 7th, but David Novak must have had a brilliant line down through the Adelaide hairpin, because he's gone from towards the back of the field in 14th place up into 8th place. So what a great start to the race for David Novak. Burr leads. There is De Percio getting in the mix and taking Bocanegra. So Alessandro De Percio, who was on pole position at the start of the weekend, is now up into 3rd place. Where is the championship leader for most of the season? He's coming through on the inside. Gonzalo Sanchez, number 23. That's really tight. He's almost pinned up against the inside of the corner. Right behind him now is Dorian Jolan. Marc Vic, your other title contender, on equal points in the championship with Sanchez. He's down to 7th place as we come through to the start of the 2nd lap. There's Takahashi losing a position. De Percio's gone through and up into 2nd, but your leader is still Eduardo Burr. 18 years of age, from just outside Sao Paulo, Brazil. Unfortunately, Mario Salles, his fellow countryman, was unable to get to France this weekend due to troubles with his flight, so he's watching on back in Brazil. But look at this scrap down to the Adelaide hairpin. Bocanegra's on the inside. Gonzalo Sanchez now is attacking, and is he going into the lead? He's struggling to get it down through the box by the looks of things. 2nd it is. 2nd then for the rider from Aragon, as we shoot out of the chicane and make our way down towards the 180 section. That's coming up now. They can't get through there. 2x2. Burr's gone through, and a big leader as well there for a big moment, sorry, for the leader, De Percio. Where's he gone? There he is. Oh, that's why he's taking a long lap penalty. He was given this for his boisterous riding yesterday, but look how damp it is out there. We saw a similar situation for Jari Montella in the World Supersport race earlier on. So in comes De Percio, but he needs to take one more long lap penalty, and he's going to lose about 5 seconds every time he does that. Drops to the back of the field. Hopefully those tyres won't get too wet when he goes through that long lap penalty lane, and it won't give him any trouble later on in the race. Into the right-hander at Lycée. Watch them now through the chicane. Marc Vic is into the lead. It just shows how quickly things can change in the R3 World Cup. Sanchez is demoted to 2nd place. We're having a job working out the championship situation in this one, because at the start of the race, our screens are showing the standings as they were at the start of the weekend and not at the start of this race. So that's going to make things very difficult indeed to work out the current situation as this race goes on. Hopefully it will be corrected. Up the inside comes Mark Vick. There's Sanchez drafting into the lead, and those two are level on points at the top of the championship. De Percio then now coming from the back of the field after that long lap penalty, and on the curbs on the inside. Did you see that? Mark Vick with a big moment there. Down to fourth again. Into 180 now. Let's see what Takahashi can do, because he started on pole position. He's been shuffled all the way back to 8th in the pack in this race. De Percio, having taken his long lap, still needs to do another one, had already fought all the way back up into 11th position. I hope he's aware that he needs to take 2. There's Sanchez. Burr on the inside line into the Imola chicane and goes through. Brazil then ahead of the rider from Aragon in Spain. Out of Chateau d'Eau, the water tower corner. Through Lycée. This is the chicane. They leap over the chicane. Big moment though for Sanchez in second place. His confidence levels will be a little bit lower after the crash there at the end of the opening lap on Saturday. This is lap 4 already of 9. Can Eduardo Burr win for the first time this season? He comes towards us now. Number 88, the rider from Brazil. But look at the compression going on there. A real concertina effect. It's impossible to know who will come out of Adelaide in the lead. Jolan with a big moment. Mark Vick then now, number 96. Hits the front again. The rider from Palma de Mallorca. And Bocanegra is going with him. And of course, for both Sanchez and for Vick, not only do they need to win for maximum points, 25, if they can get a few riders between themselves and their rival, it's massive for the championship. The finale will be Motorland Aragon in Spain on the last weekend of September. And provided the winner of the championship is at least the minimum 16 years of age, they will be given a fully supported ride in the FIM Supersport 300 Championship of 2025. Now, we can't trust those championship points, I'm afraid, because the timing screens here around the circuit are currently showing the standings as they were at the start of the weekend, as opposed to the start of this race. So that is not giving us an accurate reading of how it's going to look at the end of this race. That could cause all sorts of confusion until it gets sorted out. The second long lap penalty now of Alessandro De Percio has been completed on the outside of 180 corner. So Alessandro will fall towards the back of the field again. He was 11th when he came in for the penalty. He is still 11th as he crosses the line because of the gaps back to the other riders. So De Percio now in 11th place. He's got 5 laps to go. Can he close back in on this leading group? The margin is 3.5 seconds. Let's just take stock of who's in this group. Mark Vick leads. Sanchez is second, 96.23. Eduardo Burr, number 88, heading for his first win if he can do it. Then it's Iman Bocanegra, the 14-year-old from Peru, who's been racing in the Latin America Yamaha Series this season. Dorian Jolan, the favourite with the French crowd with the pink helmet. He's number 19, and that is running wide there. Cameron Swain, by the looks of things, yesterday's winner, it was. And he falls down into 9th position now. The rider who is supported by 2-time Superbike world champion Troy Corser, and was in floods of tears when he won race 1 here yesterday. His first ever win after what's been a difficult season with no luck whatsoever through 180. And Mark Vick taking a really wide sweeping line through there. Vic was 6th in the championship in 2021. He improved on his best, for 4th in the standings at the end of last year, but his rival Sanchez is now alongside him. Didn't get through into the inner chicane. And now the two who are level in the championship are together on the track. 25 points for the win, 20 for second, 16 for third, with Alessandro Di Persio, who could still lead the championship at the end of the race, but he needs to win with the other two basically not scoring, which would practically mean not finishing too, because 15 score and 15 are racing this weekend, with Mario Salles not able to get here, unfortunately, from Brazil. 4 to go then. Vic from Mallorca. Sanchez there, number 23. Vic is 17 years old. Sanchez turned 16 in August. Right behind them is Burr, the 18-year-old from Carapichua, just outside Sao Paulo in Brazil. And there's a nice handy gap now as far as Burr here is concerned. Back to the 14-year-old rookie, Ayman Bocanegra from Peru. He's 4th, fighting with Dorian Jolan and Pietro Anastasi, number 28, the rider from Switzerland. Takahashi down to 7th now from pole position. Ahead of his fellow countryman from Japan, Shoya Yamane. Cameron Swain is 9th. Borgelt of Germany is 10th. Di Persio still 3.5 seconds behind him. Chumparat on his debut from Thailand is in 12th spot. And that's tight there. They just about get through the Adelaide hairpin, but it's absolutely side by side with Dorian Jolan. Closest to us, and are the leaders going to change as well? Yes, they do. Mark Vick is back through on Eduardo Burr, so Sanchez now demoted to 3rd position. Slipstream is the name of the game in this category on the run down to the Adelaide hairpin, but it's a very short run to the finish line. Chateau d'Eau, and I think that second trio of 4th, 5th, 6th, Anastasi, who's now 4th, Jolan, who is 5th, and Bocanegra, who is 6th, can still catch this trio at the front of the field. The championship cannot be won here today, whatever happens, but they cannot afford 0 points for not finishing. We come through then to lap 7 of 9. Over the line, there's Mark Vick. He was 6th in race 1 here on Saturday. He won race 1 at Assen. He won race 1 at Donington. 2 times a winner so far this season. Sanchez, his rival, is in 3rd place. He was a double winner at Barcelona. He won at Assen. He won at Misano. He's won 4 times from the 9 starts we've had before this race in 2024. Vic couldn't get much closer to the white line on his right-hand side, but Eduardo Burr pulls out of the slipstream at the perfect moment. Dives up the inside, but Sanchez is trying to go with him. Vic loses 2 positions then. Burr leads. Sanchez is 2nd, Vic is 3rd, but look at that, Anastasi through the chicane, and they're almost touching behind. Stunning stuff for Pietro Anastasi, the 17-year-old on the Arco bike from Switzerland, up into 2nd position on lap 7 with only 2 to go at the end of this one. Down into the left-hander of 180 degrees, so named for obvious reasons. Everybody still running in the race. Towards the back, Chumparat from Thailand. There's the full order on the left-hand side. David Novak's struggles continue. Indy Sunsalar, who actually finished the race down on the ground yesterday, but luckily he and his bike both slid across the line. Completing the field and on target for the last point is number 58, Nicholas Zanin, the 14-year-old from the Czech Republic. Now, Anastasi is backing up Vic there, and Vic's trying to pull to his inside. Gonzalo Sanchez, I think he's being very sensible here and just focusing on Mark Vic. They really do need to capitalise though. 20 points for second or 25 for a win. It would be very nice indeed, but Sanchez is keeping himself on the back of Mark Vic. Although 1 position behind would not be ideal for Gonzalo, who's led the championship for pretty much the whole season so far, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And we know how strong Gonzalo is likely to be when we get to Aragon in Spain at the end of the month. Here he is, number 23. What he can't let happen, though, is for Vic to win the race with himself down in 4th or 5th positions. He'd be losing too many points if that were to happen, but what can you do? It's been a bit of a struggle this weekend at Magny-Cours. Sanchez did not know this circuit before coming here. Mark Vick did. There goes Anastasia around the outside. And Mark Vick now, number 96. He wants to try and win this championship, and he wants as many points here today to put himself in the strongest possible position for when we get to Motorland. Mark Vick then is back in front. It's 6 riders. The second trio have indeed caught the leading 3, and now they're all mixing and matching as they come down through the Nürburgring chicane on the penultimate lap. This is 180. Here's Imola. Is Sanchez going to make a move? He feints to the inside, he doesn't go through. And we're hearing that the levels of tension down in the R3 village are extremely high now, as the mechanics, the friends, the families of the riders watch on with just 1 lap to go here. There goes Burr back up into 2nd place. Hold your breath then through the chicane. The 9th and final lap of the weekend here at Magny-Cours in France in the Yamaha R3 bLU cRU World Cup. And it's Mark Vick, number 96, the 17-year-old from Palma in Mallorca, leading, but only a couple of bike lengths ahead of the Brazilian, Eduardo Burr, number 88, 18 years of age. Here's Gonzalo Sanchez. Is he going to lose leadership of the championship at an absolutely crucial time with only 2 races to go in Aragon after this at the end of September? If it stays like this, he will, because Vick 96 and Sanchez 23 are level on points after yesterday's race 1. Eduardo Burr takes the lead. And there goes Sanchez up the inside of Pietro Anastasi, and that's 3rd place. Is this going to be one of those gloriously timed final laps for Gonzalo Sanchez? They're side by side ahead of him, and he's got a grandstand view of it as his rival Mark Vick cuts underneath Eduardo Burr to take the lead. This is 180 for the last time. Half a lap to go then. Here in the French region of Burgundy, the pace is so hot at the front, they're just beginning to drop. Anastasi, it's impossible to call. Vick looks across, moves across. Sanchez up the inside, and he takes Burr. And now the riders, the pair of Spaniards who are level on points at the top of the standings, are 1 and 2 in the race into Chateau d'Eau. Is Sanchez going to be perfectly positioned for a 5th win of the season by passing Vick, who's on target for his 3rd win of the season? They go one way, they go another. Sanchez dives up the inside. He's going to take the lead, but he doesn't want to run wide on the exit, which we so often see happen here. But he has run wide on the exit, and he's lost 2 positions. Mark Vick through the chicane then. Mark Vick wins in France, and Mark Vick leads the R3 bLU cRU World Cup as we head to Motorland Aragon in Spain for a 2-race finale on the 27th and 28th of September. Burr is 2nd, Sanchez is 3rd. So that means Vick will go to Spain with a 9-point advantage over his compatriot. Where is De Percio? He's come through for 11th position, having done his 2 long lap penalties, but he'll be ruining what happened in race 1 yesterday to have given him that penalty. Mark Vick then for the David Salom Junior School. He knew he might have an advantage over Sanchez this weekend because Gonzalo had to learn Magny-Cours. Mark's been here before, but can you imagine the pressure he would have been under there going down into that final lap? Burr as well. Stunning 2nd place for Eduardo Burr. And look how many positions they've gained on the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen. Anastasi was really the man making the running. 9 places, up to 4th. Takahashi was the big loser, of course, down 6 from pole to 7th. And Cameron Strain's weekend, it ends in 9th place Brilliant first win, though, for the Australian here in mixed conditions on a drying track on Saturday. Well, Gonzalo Sanchez will head to Spain. He's just scored 16 points. Mark Vick scored 25. And now 9 behind for Sanchez. And there are 5 points between first and second. Times that by 2 and you've got 10. So if Sanchez wins both races in Spain, he will be the champion, even if Vick is second in both of those races. So Gonzalo will head to Aragon, and he's just got to hope for a double. And if he wins both, there's nothing Mark Vick will be able to do to stop him. Of course, Vick here is in a much nicer position in many ways in terms of the points, perhaps not in terms of the pressure, because he's the one being chased now as he hits the top of the standings for the first time this season. And that's a big, big swing in the championship to go to the last round 9 ahead. That's a swing then of 19 points because he was 10 behind when he came into the weekend. And I can now confirm to you then, as I say, 9 points back from Vick to Sanchez and 44 to De Percio. So mathematically, De Percio can still win the championship as well. It is now officially down to those 3. 44 points covering Vick, Sanchez and De Percio ahead of Motorland, because Burr is 4th but 56 behind and only 50 available when we get to Spain. So it's either Vick of Spain, Sanchez of Spain or De Percio of Italy for 2024 to follow in the footsteps of our 3 former champions, Iker Garcia from Spain in 2021, Enzo Valentim from France in 2022, and Emiliano Ercolani from Italy in 2023. So will it be Spain or Italy who delivers 2 titles for the first time in the 4-year history of this category? In comes Mark Vick. He rode that absolutely brilliantly there. Magnificent result for Mark. There's Eduardo Burr. I'm glad he's finished on the podium. He deserved at least one after leading yesterday in high-siding out, coming out of the 180 corner. And Sanchez already off his bike and straight across to the team, I'm sure, to chat with them and debrief. And he'll already be thinking, won't he, about practice when we get to Motorland Aragon. Here's the full results then. Vick wins by 2/10 of a second. Almost 3/10 of a second, and he'll be chatting in a moment with Georgia Wells. Sanchez up there on the podium yet again from Anastasi Boccanegra. What an absolutely sensational weekend for Ayman Boccanegra, the 14-year-old Peruvian who debuted at the very last moment, nearly won yesterday when he finished in 2nd place and then 5th today. He's really made a name for himself. Dorian Jolan fails to make the podium here in France as he did last year. The home crowd was certainly hoping he would. Takahashi 7th from Yamani Swain, and then Mitja Borgelt of Germany completing the top 10. Here's Sanchez. They're telling him in Spanish that he put in an absolutely brilliant race, and he did. He was 3rd. He was only half a second off the win, but Gonzalo's body language told you all you needed to know, because he knows there's work to do now with a 9-point deficit going into the last round, as his rival takes the victory here. An extremely well-timed win then for Mark Vick. That was Eduardo Burr in 2nd place, number 88, but here's Il Billo.
Mark, yesterday you had to do a very clever race, just taking it easy in the difficult conditions and securing points. Today you were able to fight all out, and you've taken a very important victory, putting you 9 points ahead coming into the last round in Aragon. So tell us how you feel.
Well, this race was really difficult because we were a lot of riders, and there are some tiny corners, and that type of corners are really difficult. But finally, we got the 1st position. We were thinking of all race, so we finally got the result.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Georgia. Thanks, Mark. Here's the moment. He looks across at Sanchez, and he knows exactly what Gonzalo's done. Gonzalo did well to hold that, and this is the critical point too. Burr sneaks through as well. Mark Vick over the line then for win number 3 of the season for the David Salom Racing School. His idols are Toprak Razgatlioglu and Andrea Locatelli. Men he looks up to very much in this paddock, and of course everybody here at Yamaha sends Toprak Razgatlioglu our best wishes after his awful crash in World Superbike practice on Friday afternoon. Toprak, we're thinking of you. We send you all our love. And Mark Vick absolutely delighted with that victory. Likes a little bit of magic, does Mark Vick, and it was a magic result, wasn't it, today? Excuse the pun. There's Sanchez putting a brave face on it. All these guys have been supporting the likes of Aldi Mahendra, who qualified on pole position for World Supersport 300 here on Friday, and is very much a title contender with the great success he's had here in Magny-Cours. And many of these guys, of course, and the girls that we had racing earlier on in the season as wildcards at the various rounds, will be looking to follow in the footsteps of the likes of Aldi Mahendra by moving up into the World Championship. And we also had a superb ride earlier on today by the 2022 Supersport 300 World Champion, the Arco University rider on a Yamaha. Alvaro Diaz stormed up from the back of the grid to score some points in World Supersport. So well done to Alvaro too. And here's Nicolo Canepa, Grand Prix rider in MotoGP, World Superbike rider, World Endurance rider, World Endurance champion, and he'll be at the Bol d'Or, the 24-hour race in the south of France at Paul Ricard next weekend.
And now the 25 points, the championship lead and the race winner's plaque, that goes to Mark Vick. And now,
very pensive looking Gonzalo Sanchez there on the right hand side of your screen, but it's the national anthem of Spain for Mallorca's Mark Vick. And the Japanese national anthem for Yamaha here in the bLU cRU World Cup.
Congratulations to the top 3. If I can ask all 3 riders to join together on the top step, we will get the official World SBK.
Look how calm Mark Vick is, despite having just won the race. He knows how important that is, but he also knows this ain't over yet. And he'll be going back to Mallorca. He'll stick on his Iron Man 2, his favourite film, and his reggaeton music. And he'll be thinking about his game plan for Motorland Aragon at the end of September. A crucial win for Mark Vick ahead of Eduardo Burra. Sanchez tried so hard but fell to third at the last corner. And well done, Ayman Bocanegra, second on Saturday, fifth today, the 14-year-old from Peru. What a great first weekend in the championship for him, as Depercio, despite 2 long lap penalties, fights back up to 11th position. So we head to Aragon for the last 2 races of the season at the end of September. And it's the top 3 who have a chance of winning the championship. If Sanchez wins both races, he does win the championship, but Mark Vick has an advantage of 9 points. As for Depercio, he'll just have to hope for a double and also hope that the other 2 hit trouble. But as this season has demonstrated, anything really could happen. So many thanks from Georgia Wells down in Parc Ferme, from Ian Wheeler, from myself, Greg Haynes, here in the commentary box. All of us at Yamaha, we thoroughly look forward with some trepidation and nerves to the finale at Motorland Aragon, live and exclusive here on the Yamaha Racing YouTube page. It's all changed for the first time this season. With just 1 round to go, we have a new championship leader and it's Mark Vick from Mallorca. Do not miss Aragon at the end of the month. We'll see you there.
Of course, Gonzalez at only 9 points. You go to Aragon, it's a home race, and then you're also Spanish, so it's kind of a home race for you as well. What are you expecting?